This is my setup. Although this particular picture shows a T3i, I use a T1i. And it has the 15 millimeter Sigma. I actually use a Tokina wide angle zoom, which we'll see in the next picture. And here is the tokina zoom, IFDX f2, 14 to 20. It's a really nice lens. I bought it brand new when I used to be a fool, because now I buy everything secondhand. Of course, it was very expensive because it just came out then, but it's a really, really nice lens. But it's massive, it's heavy, it's big. Compared to the 15 millimeter, the 15 millimeter is really light. But I didn't have the 15 millimeter back in 2014, on July 26th. So I use this. This is from 12:10 a.m. to 12:53 a.m. And I'm just showing you this segment to let you know what it's all about. What was the sky like back in 2014? Well, the sky was empty. Now, I went out in July because I wanted to catch some Perseus meteors, which have a lot of fireballs. But that night, I caught 3 little quickies, which I appended to the end of this segment. And like I said, I used a T1i. I was using 1280 by 720. Well, why? Why'd you do that? Well, back in 2014, people had dial-up modems, or if they're lucky, they had a cable, or maybe DSL. I did have cable at the time, and it had great download speed, but it had pretty crappy upload speed. I switched to DSL sometime later, but it's the same thing. I had pretty good download, but it had pretty bad upload. So that was the problem. If you had a massive, this segment we're watching, which was a number of 5 or 6 minute segments, was 8 gigabytes. So there's no way I could have uploaded 8 gigabytes before the end of the universe using a dial-up modem or cable. So even at 1280 by 720, what could I say? So I used a lot of 640 by 480. But now that I have fiber, it's great. Fiber is super fast. It only takes like a couple minutes to upload a gigabyte or so. And I didn't have the tools. I didn't have the software to edit anything. And I have the software to do cool things. Now, back in those days, I was shooting with the green phosphor. And I didn't realize that I could just switch to black and white and get rid of that nasty green. But, some people say, oh, night vision's got to be green. So I pointed this towards the constellation Cygnus, which is sort of in the center. And up towards the top is Vega, which is in the constellation Lyra. And those are the constellations around it. Now, you may already notice that there's nothing, no little dots moving in the sky. I think there was like 3 airplanes, and you could tell they were airplanes, but no other little dots. There were 3 meteors, but since I'm using fast forward, I went to 3x fast forward. And that would wipe out the meteors. So I clipped them out and appended them to the end. We'll see them at the end. So, look, nothing. It's scary. And I'm doing this to show you the change, what happened from 2014 to 2026. Oh, look, there's an airplane for you. You can actually tell that there's 2 dots close together and it's flashing. How about that? See, that's the zoom lens. I was able to zoom up on it a little bit. Now, there were clouds out that night. There were high, thin clouds. Should I have not have taken a video? What if a fireball came by? I could have missed it. If you only wait for the perfect nights, well, then you're only going to go out a couple of nights a year. So I go out on marginal nights hoping that something would happen. But back in 2014, nothing happened. There was no airplanes. All right, it was at midnight, but usually around midnight you see more meteors. But there's no satellites. This is the same pickup tube. I was using ISO 1600. And you look at the stars. There's quite a number of stars there, and dim stars too. I know there's some clouds there, but you could barely make out the Milky Way too. So it could have captured any satellites that are out, but we don't see any. A couple of airplanes, a couple of meteors, that was it in 2014. And now, any night you could go out, you could capture all sorts of transient phenomena that are technically unidentifiable. All right, I always talk about the Stellarium, which is a planetarium program for your PC. And if you go in a setup, it says show Starling. There's a checkbox. If you checkbox that, it puts in Starling. Now Stellarium lets you move faster than real time. So you could set it to 2 or 3x as fast and you see what comes by and what constellations they're going. You could also set the date and the time. So, you could always plan ahead. But what's going to happen, there's already 12,000 Starlinks in their constellation, and more to come. And other entities are sending up their constellations also. So eventually, you're going to see more transient phenomena than you are going to see stars. It makes me laugh. So this segment was 8 gigabytes long. When I ran it through at 3x fast forward, it dropped down to under 2 gigabytes. Because, why should I make you look at 43 minutes of nothing when I could speed it up and you only have to look at 13 minutes of nothing? I mean, all right, there's the stars, there's Cygnus, there's Vega and Lyra and the other constellations around it. So there's that. There was no supernova. There weren't any mysterious UFOs or UAPs, or I didn't capture any lightning bugs or no birds. Just a couple of planes and that's it. And that's what it was like in 2014. So I thought I would archive this to show you what the sky was like in 2014. It was empty, except for stars. As opposed to now in 2026 and moving forward, there's going to be all sorts of stuff up there. Now, as those are my intention, I want to catch shooting stars, meteors. Maybe a supernova, that would be nice. Be the first one to discover supernova. Yeah, UFO or UAP. Well, we only called them UFOs back then. But nothing. Night after night. It's interesting to watch the sky move. The stars do move. Because the Earth rotates around, they appear to move in the sky. But there was nothing. I'll tell you what changed. In my neck of the woods where I live, these warm summer nights, there's a chorus of locusts and crickets and all sorts of buzzing insects. They buzz, 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 crick, crick, crick. That's all you would hear, deafening. And now there's silence. I don't know what that means. So in 12 years, the sky became full of transient phenomena, but I lost the crickets. I don't know. Oh, I can't say there's crickets anymore because the crickets are gone. But this is a historical record. Just think, if I didn't take this, there would be nothing to compare to today. How do we know that Starlink isn't beaming down the compulsion signals to make you buy cheap stuff from China, or stab people, or do any insane thing? We don't know. There's so many up there. They used to say all you needed was 4 geosynchronous satellites would cover the whole Earth. Right? They would be 23,000 miles away. They would stay in the same spot. and then all the signals would route through them. Why do we need all these things moving around in the night sky in low Earth orbit, like 500 miles up or something? And there's going to be so many of them. How are you going to launch things into outer space without hitting these things? I mean, you're going to need a supercomputer to know, oh, launch the rocket now, and it's got to go through a trajectory and miss everything. Now, I'm hoping that the lifetime of Starlink is only two and a half years. So I would like to save them fireballs. The smallest one is 500 pounds, and the others are like 2,000 pounds. So man, when that comes crashing down, that's going to make a big-ass fireball, or maybe even a bowline. But I don't even see many of them, you know. So there are only these little dots moving around. And even under 10x magnification with 40 millimeter objective binoculars, they're still dots. So what does that mean? Of course, the Starlink is small. Some of them are like, you know, as big as the basket you put your clothes in for laundry. Oh, some of the other ones are bigger, as big as a shopping cart or something. And they all have different configurations. They all seem to be shiny. The ones I see when they launch, they look like they have polished metal sides that are all sort of cubical looking. You know, square on each side. And then where is he putting like a AI in orbit, and they talk to each other, and they could compute things and send the answers back. I don't know how it works, what it's all about. Oh, Starlink's a great thing. Yeah. You could send a text to anybody using Starlink, but maybe that's just a side gig, you know, just to fool people. We don't know what's the real purpose of Starlink or all that other stuff up there. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory. You know, Elon Musk is great. Is he really great? I don't know. I don't hate the guy. I like some of the stuff he says, and I don't like everything he says. You know, but he's got his cult and following, which is cool, you know. It makes the sky more interesting. While I'm looking for meteors, at least I don't just see static stars moving slowly in the sky. I see all these things zipping around. And he said, wow, look at that. And there's going to be more. Lots and lots more. Lots and lots more. What can I say? So I'm going to, clear nights, I'm going to keep looking for meteors. And I'll keep posting videos. And I'm going to speeding up because I don't expect people to look at an hour, 90-minute video in real time. I mean, they do move rather slow. So 3x or 4x, fast forward on your screen, at least they seem to move at a rate that would catch your attention. And it just to show the sheer number of them that are out there. There are so many. That was a lightning bug. What can I say? It's just, I have no words to describe it. It used to be just me and the stars and the occasional meteor, and now it's me, the stars, and Starlink, and all this transient phenomena. Now, why are some bright and some dim, or some further away, or some closer, or some bigger, or some smaller? Now, of course, at midnight, if I'm looking towards the zenith, that the sun is being blocked by the earth, so they can't reflect from sunlight. But there's still got to be stuff further away. But in 2014, the sky was really, really empty. Super empty. It was a big deal. If you go to like a star festival or some college had an observatory night, there's always some guy who would point out, oh, there's a satellite, and everyone would look and say, ooh, because it was a big deal. But now satellites are a dime a dozen. Oh, look, there's an airplane. That's the second one, I think. I don't know what to think. That's the second one. And like in 45 minutes or something. Rather than seeing all sorts of things zipping around, nothing. And these clouds, you can see the stars through the clouds, so they're not really blocking anything. Nope, not at all. Now I appended to the end of this, I clipped out the 3 meteors that I captured that night, and I repeated each one 5 times. 2 came within a couple of seconds of each other, so you see those 2. I think they're going to be upper right-hand corner. And then the one that was single, look, only 3 airplanes. 3 airplanes, that's it. And then the second one is going to be in the upper left-hand corner. It's very short, although it looked like it might have been bright. So, and that's, that's the way it was. Oh, I'd love to see a meteor shower. It looks like it's raining meteors or fireballs one after another. Like Randall Carlson's always talking about, oh, we got to watch out for meteors. They're going to destroy civilization. Well, it's going to be a rogue meteor coming out of nowhere. It's... All right, here we go. Look, see that one, upper right-hand corner? See that one? There's a dim one. See the dim one? Bright, dim, bright, dim, bright, dim. Now here we're going to the one that's upper left. See it? Tiny little one. Really quick. There it is. There it is. Pretty cool, huh? That's what I call it.